Who's your commander?
Good luck.
Equip.
Move to combat. Resolves.
Hate you.
Now, before you attack
Does
me,
anyone have an answer?
well played.
Good game.
Hello everyone, my name is DJ, this is the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel, and today we're looking at something very interesting. It's a Hasbro crossover. Let's find out if ponies have a place in Commander. Magic the Gathering has done something pretty awesome. In order to raise money for Extra Life, which is a charity that benefits Seattle Children's Hospital, they have printed 3 new silver bordered cards and titled them Ponies, the Galloping. I do like that very much. They're selling these 3 cards for $50, and $30 of that will go directly to that charity. This crossover is not unprecedented. We've seen this at HasCon, where they released the Grimlock Dinobot Leader, which was the Transformers crossover, the Nerf crossover card, and the Dungeons & Dragons crossover card. So this is something pretty cool, but we have to figure out if this is a product for us. I mean, if you want to donate money to Children's Hospital, that sounds totally awesome and you should do that, but are these cards any good? Can you play them in our format? Let's take a look at them. Princess Twilight Sparkle. White-blue for a 2/2 legendary alicorn. With flying, other alicorns, horses, pegasi, ponies, and unicorns you control get +1/+1. That's right, it's equine tribal. Yes, it's an anthem for all your horsies and the like. It also has an activated ability, white, blue, black, red, green, if you control Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity. Every pony wins the game. So this has a win condition built in. The only problem is that 4 of the 5 cards listed don't exist yet. I mention yet because if they're naming the My Little Pony horses, they're going to eventually print them, which is pretty cool and interesting. So this is a useless ability unless we have a bunch of hoops we jump through, which I'll talk about a little bit later. Okay, let this sink in as we move on to our next pony, which is Nightmare Moon. 4 black for a 6/6 legendary alicorn. It has flying, and as long as it's nighttime, Nightmare Moon gets +2/+2 and has menace. Alright, that's okay. A 6 CMC 8/8 flying menace monster? Yeah, okay. This also has an activated ability, 6 transform Nightmare Moon, and any pony may activate this ability or help pay that cost. When they do, they become your friend. Oh, that's great. They become your friend. You might not want to transform Nightmare Moon because you will go from an 8/8 to a 4/4, so it does get smaller. But there's this awesome transform ability. Let's take a look at it. When this creature transforms into Princess Luna, choose up to 6 cards you own from outside the game with a moon in their art. Then exile those cards. As long as those cards remain exiled, you may cast them, and your friends may cast them with your permission. So you can just dole out cards to your friends, and it's like this big draw 6. Wow, that's really cool. You pay 6 mana and you literally draw 6. The card quality, though, of that draw 6 is definitely questionable. Are we going to be able to have good cards if they all have to have a moon in the art? One last card, and that's Rarity. 1 white-blue for a 2/2 legendary unicorn. Rare and mythic rare spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Oh, that's nice. I like that. You can also pay 1 and tap it and reveal a My Little Pony toy you own. Until end of turn, another target creature gains protection from each color in that toy's coat, mane, and outfit. So basically, I'm assuming it's 1 and tap, gain protection from all colors, which is pretty good. Okay. I'm not going to get into every single one of these ponies right now. Instead, I want to just take a look and find out, well, is this something that we should buy? It's on sale right now until November 5th. And I think the first thing you have to ask yourself is, will my playgroup let me play with silver bordered cards? Because these are technically not legal in our format, but I've had a lot of success and a lot of fun playing with silver bordered cards as long as they're not pushed to the too competitive level. So if you build this as sort of a medium power deck, I think that it's a great way to have a deck that's a 4, a 5, or a 6 in power level and still have it be interesting and fun and flavorful. I also think $50 is a lot to pay for 3 cards, especially goofy corner case cards, and so that's something you'll definitely have to consider. One thing that's nice though is that they are just $50. This is not like a limited time run, it's gonna sell out. No, it's there for raising charity. It'll be there until November 5th, and it will always be $50, and there isn't a lot of, you know, jockeying or reposting online for way more. If you want it, get it. You know, and the people that buy it are just gonna buy it and use it and have it as a collector's edition. This is not gonna be some crazy Magic Finance move, although it could be. One thing I do want to mention though is that they will be printing more of these My Little Pony cards because they literally name them on Princess Twilight Sparkle. So if you kind of like them a little bit and you maybe want to build a larger theme deck later on, even though the support isn't there right now, then it might be really good to pick them up. Also, just want to throw it out there, Grimlock Dinobot Leader is an awesome card, and a lot of people were like, whatever, and now it's $135. Oh my gosh. One thing is that they're not going to go down in price because collectors buy these. It's honestly a different product from the normal Magic card, and so there is sort of a built-in floor with the price of these cards. If people want it, they'll buy it and they'll pay the price, and that will be the price. And it will only go up from there if more people are interested, especially if they start printing really cool other My Little Pony cards. So let's take a look at some of those cards, because Princess Twilight Sparkle, the card that references Applejack, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and Rarity, which we did talk about, is a potentially strong commander. But we have to look at it and say, can we even use that activated ability? And I have to say, you can. You just have to play a second silver bordered card. And that card is 1 and a blue for a 1/1 shapeshifter. You can pay 1, this card's name becomes the name of your choice. Play this ability anywhere, anytime. It's got another ability too about the flavor text, but it's really fun because you can just pay 1 and turn this into Applejack. The problem is that then you need to copy this and then pay 1 again and turn that one into Rainbow Dash. It's so bad. There's so many hoops to jump through, and it's still a silver bordered combo win. Oh my gosh. I do want to mention that the blank card does work, and we have confirmation about that, but Spy Kit does not, because these are going to be named cards, and even though they don't exist yet, they will be legendary. Morrow actually weighed in on the ruling for, here's an unruling for an issue that's come up today, for Blank, the unnamed creature from Unhinged. A card being referenced as a card name in rules text of a printed card is enough to consider the card existing for the purposes of using its name. Okay, there's an anthem on Princess Twilight Sparkle that's pretty strong. Whenever you have anthems, you usually want to go wide, and Sacred Mesa can pump out Pegasuses, and Stormherd puts out so many creatures. This is actually an played card. It's pretty fun. You might have seen it more often because it just came out in the recent Commander set, but 10 mana is a lot, but you can get yourself a lot of little tokens. Okay, there's more Pegasuses out there. I like Boreas Charger and Vryn Ringmare. A lot of the other ones stink, but you can do your own searches if you're interested in this. Unicorns are pretty good. There's Good Fortune Unicorn, Inspiring Unicorn, and Loyal Unicorn. All of these help you attack in. Probably the best unicorn, though, is Opaline Unicorn, because you can have a 2/3 for 3 that also taps for mana. Mostly it's just the mana and the flavor. Okay, but I really like horses the best. Crested Sunmare is quite possibly the best horse. There is not a lot of life gain in this deck, and so hopefully you can make that work. I really like Carnival Hellsteed because the name is awesome. I also like the idea of these horses in black because they're more aggressive. Plague Mare is good, this nightmare horse that comes down and does a mini wipe of your opponent's board. But I mean, if we're talking about horses, we really got to talk about the original Nightmare. 6 mana for a star flying, the power and toughness is equal to the number of swamps you control, which is why we need to be running Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, so that we can have all of our lands be swamps and to go smashing in with a huge nightmare creature. I'm also a fan of Timbermare and Thundermare. They come onto the battlefield and they tap every other creature, so you know you're going to be smashing in for some damage. Unfortunately, it taps your own horses and Pegasuses too, so it's not as ideal as some of the other falter effects out there, but I really like how this opens up lines of attacks. It's almost like a horsey Disrupticorum out there. Everyone that thinks their defenses are in place are like, ah, no, everything's tapped, it's chaos. And I do like that. If you want to see this deck, I started making a deck list and I realized that there was one that was way better than mine already on the internet. So go ahead and check that one out. It's got a really good description about what's going on and some awesome flavor. It includes cards like Camaraderie, and the only talisman is Talisman of Unity, which just screams flavor. I love it so much. So check out that deck list instead of my junky one. So let's move on to the next one, Rarity. Rarity is the one that reduces the casting cost of mythic and rare spells. It reminds me of Helm of Awakening, which is a super combo enabler. Whenever you reduce the mana cost of something, it can be huge. But I mean, this is already in Azorius. We have like Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, but maybe this is a more, casual version of that. I mean, I'm thinking about the reduction of mana cost, and it is a very powerful ability. Like the Dragon is a commander that also reduces the casting cost of dragons, and I've seen that really, really impact my curve. But again, affecting your curve from the command zone versus being on the dragon field is the difference between the Dragon and just having a Dragon Lord servant out. It's not that big of a deal. So Rarity can accelerate you, almost like mana ramp in your command zone, which is pretty cool. It could also help you combo out, like the Helm of Awakening thing. Sensei's Divining Top can be combined with Magus of the Future or Future Sight in order to just kind of go crazy and just play it and draw your whole deck, and yeah, that's kind of stuff. I actually think that I would take a different direction. By the way, I want you to look at Future Sight right there. There's a moon right there. That's coming up later in this episode. Okay, the approach that I would take is I would actually have creatures going on. I mean, it's really because of that other ability. The other ability says 1 and tap, reveal a My Little Pony toy. Until end of turn, another target creature gains protection from the color. So being able to give protection is a very powerful combat ability. And so this lets you get damage through or win combat scenarios. And so I'm imagining a deck that deals with creature combat in Azorius. I like Thalia because your opponent's creatures enter the battlefield tapped, which gives you 1 more turn to attack them. Geist of St. Traft is always something that people want to block. They're like, ugh, get that off the battlefield so I'm not smashed with an angel. But if you're always giving it protection, the angel keeps getting through for damage. And if you're going to be playing a bunch of creatures, God Eternal Ketra is always good because it essentially helps you go wide without actually committing too much to the board. And I'm actually thinking about a card like Glory, which I am a huge fan of. I honestly think that you should be playing this card in more white decks. Giving your creatures protection is very, very relevant. You can get huge bursts of damage through, you can win combat, and with Rarity's ability to affect the curve, being able to play creatures earlier than usual, yeah, if you can leverage that curve and activated ability, Rarity might be a good fit for you. Let's go on to the final pony, and that is Nightmare Moon. This is a big beater in the air, but really what we want to look at is when it flips, what kind of moon cards do we have access to? And I have to say, I spent several hours scrolling through moon pictures. Okay, one thing I learned is that vampires have a lot of moon pictures in them. I've picked a few: Vampire Nightlock, Bloodline Keeper, Skeletal Vampire, and Voldarin Pariah, but there are more, lots more. There's also some other really powerful creatures featuring moons. Mortivore, if you're going to have a lot of creatures in your graveyard, can be a big beater. Harvester of Souls, there's some other demons that have moons in the art, is just really solid, especially if you have a creature-based strategy. Midnight Banshee is a very slow board wipe, but still can be very powerful. And going on to more black cards, we have more support in Bad Moon. If we are creating a bunch of vampires or pulling demons out of nowhere, we can pump them up. And also win with Nocturnal Raid. This is a, well, it's not going to be out of nowhere, but this is a instant speed pump for your black creatures. It gives them +2/+0. Your opponents will know you have it, but just pulling that out might be really good. And then I didn't think this was a moon, but look at Night's Whisper's flavor text. The Mariok call the Black Moon the Whisperer. At her apex, she whispers of power. So that's literally looking at the black moon right there, rather than some weird glowy marble. So yeah, black moon, awesome. That's a moon in the art. Okay, one more piece of moon art I like is Moon Silver Sphere, because it can be pretty aggressive, but you don't always need an 8 CMC piece of equipment to equip to something. All right, a few more black cards. Dawn of the Dead, bringing creatures back. Dystopia, punishing white players. And Blanket of Night. One thing about Blanket of Night is that it's not gonna benefit you too much. But remember, your Alicorn, Princess Luna, lets all of your, quote, friends play these cards too. And so Blanket of Night might be able to unlock some of these cards so that you can donate them to your friends. So I like to include that as well. All right, one more type of art that has lots of moons in it are ninjas and vampires, ninjas, assassins, all sorts of stuff like that. People that do stuff at night. And so this is the Dimir section. Now, we can't naturally cast this, so we'll need something like a Chromatic Lantern or some sort of fixing. But Silent Blade Oni, Atrada the Silencer, Ingenious Infiltrator, all of them have moon featured in the art. And Phoenix God of Deception, that could be a cool different win condition. You literally are playing your deck through, and then suddenly you're like, oh, Phoenix, tap, 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 tap. You've been milled. All right, if you have access to other colors, or if you want to donate these cards, Moonveiled Dragon has a super big moon in the art, but really can be super aggressive. Kami of the Crescent Moon is a great thing to let your friend cast because it will give you cards anyways. Tribute to the Wild, sometimes you need to get rid of those artifacts or enchantments, especially in mono black. So giving this to your opponent or being able to cast that yourself could be good. Or just shutting down your opponent's lands. Blood Moon, Alpine Moon could be really strong in this scenario. Okay, so that's basically the sideboard of this deck. What about the actual deck? Yeah, I didn't put that together. I spent way too much time looking up moon cards. Okay, but honestly, this is whatever you want. It's just a mono black deck that has tons of cool things in it. Just build it however you want to. Just another different mono black deck. But it's all about this moon sideboard, everyone. Okay, so Princess Twilight Sparkle has the most convoluted and complicated silver bordered combo out there, but really could just be beat down horsies. We have Nightmare Moon, which is a mono black deck with a crazy sideboard, and hopefully your opponents let you play with a silver bordered card and a sideboard for that, but honestly could just be a big beater black deck. And then finally we have Rarity, which can be combo centric, but you don't want to combo out with a silver bordered general. So instead, I think you should go with a creature beatdown strategy, really hyping on the curve reduction that Rarity gives and the protection that she allows as well. So with all of these creatures, do these decks sound interesting to you? Is this something that you want to play with? Please let me know in the comments down below what you think of this product. Are you buying it? Are you making decks? What moon cards did I miss? I want to thank Cool Stuff Inc. for supporting the Jumbo Commander YouTube channel. And if you want to buy all of those moon cards that I just mentioned, type in Jumbo5 for 5% off your order. Thanks, Cool Stuff Inc. And thank you so much to my patrons. They're a huge support to me all of the time. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.